If you have come across this today, I'm guessing that you either want to get sober or you are recently sober and you want to make it easier on yourself. Either way, today I'm going to provide you with some tangible tips and kind of one overarching theme to make living an alcohol-free lifestyle just a little bit easier. Let's be honest, quitting drinking is not going to be a walk in the park no matter what you do. There are going to be struggles. It is going to be an adjustment. You're changing a major thing about your life. So obviously, there's going to be some ups and there's going to be some downs. But my job, what I'm here to do is to help make those lows a little less low. Okay? So, welcome to the Sober Scoop. My name is India Gantz. I am the host. And this is our sobriety community where together we help people get sober, stay sober, and just thrive in an alcohol-free lifestyle. So thank you for being here, and let's jump right in. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. So if you have been listening for a while, you know that I talk a lot about finding your why. And a lot of people talk about in sobriety finding your why for why you're quitting, which is important as well, of course. But the why that I'm talking about is why you drank in the way you did in the first place. If you got to a bad place with alcohol, we have to find out why that was, okay? And for some people, like myself, that reason is going to be pretty obvious, okay? Maybe there was some traumatic situation in your life, a hardship, maybe it's a mental health issue, maybe it's an injury, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship. Oh my gosh, the list goes on, but you probably know your why. Probably if it's not super obvious, then it is somewhere in you, and you got to figure out what that is. Why did you get to the place that you did with drinking? And once we figure that out, then it is like you crack the code a little bit to quitting drinking without willpower. Because if we're dealing with all these things, we're going through a hard time, we're struggling at our job, we're unhappy in the city that we live in, whatever your situation is, and you're drinking to get through that, and then you just poof, one day you remove the alcohol and you do nothing else. You just quit drinking. Well, let me tell you right now, that is going to be hard because your life is going to be the exact same. It's like alcohol was your medication for this illness, right? This life that you're not happy with. And then you just remove the medication. You didn't actually do any work on the thing that's causing you to be ill, if that makes any sense. We have to do the deeper work so that we no longer crave a drink. And although that might be harder up front, it is going to make sobriety so much easier. And that is how you quit drinking without willpower. So let's go back to the scenario where you just eliminate alcohol and that's all you do. You don't go to therapy, you don't read any books, you don't work on yourself and your life. You just quit drinking, take that away. That is going to require a lot of willpower. Every day, you are going to have to say no to alcohol because throughout the day, there are going to be countless things that make you want to drink. Maybe you got to the place that you did with alcohol because you hate your job. And so maybe you drink before your job. Maybe you drink on the job. Maybe alcohol is all you can think about all day and you can't wait until it's 5 p.m. and you can go home and you can drink. Maybe you absolutely despise your coworker and you can't wait to just drink the stress of that away the moment you get home, whatever your situation is. And then you just take away alcohol, the thing that was like getting you through that time. That is going to be hard. And every day you're going to have to say, oh, I hate my job. I hate this coworker. How am I going to get through it? I guess I just have to try really hard. Don't drink, don't drink, don't drink. That's not a very peaceful life. And the way that you do this easier, it's not easier up front, but it will be easier down the road, is you do the deeper work. So maybe with the work situation, maybe it's leaving that job. Maybe it's moving to a different department. Maybe it's getting a therapist to learn better skills for dealing with life at work if you do want to stay there. Maybe you really want a promotion and it's just not happening. So the deeper work that you need to do is like discussing a game plan with your supervisor and figuring out how you're going to get there to create that life that you want. We have to do the deeper work to improve our lives so that we no longer crave a drink. So maybe it's getting out of that job that you hate. Maybe it's getting out of that relationship that you are unhappy in. Or doing therapy to figure out better strategies for thriving in that relationship and re-healing your relationship with your husband, or, reinvigorating your love life. All this to say, I'm trying to throw out a lot of examples to be relatable to people, but you know what your situation is. So whatever your situation is, just removing alcohol, the thing that's gotten you through that, ain't gonna cut it. Okay? It might cut it for a little while. You might be successful for 3 days, 5 days, a week. Woohoo! You made it. But then reality's gonna hit. And you're gonna be like, oh, I still hate my job or hate my relationship, or am dealing with that trauma from that situation, or I'm still dealing with the repercussions of this injury or whatever. You're like, oh, I'm still unhappy. I'm still going through this hard time. And let me say right now, it's okay to be going through hard times and you can do it without alcohol. So quit drinking for sure. And then it's time to get to work. You can do therapy. You can read books. You can listen to podcasts. You're already taking a good step in the right direction listening to this one. We just have to look a little bit inward and start our healing journey. Me, for example, I was in a relationship with a narcissist who verbally and emotionally abused me, essentially. It was really hard during the relationship. It was even harder after the relationship when I was harassed and stalked and just awful things. And I drank to get through all of that. And once I quit, I realized all of that was still really affecting me deeply. I was still hurting from that, and I was still scarred from that. Like when you've gone through something like that, it affects how you view yourself. I can hear his voice in my head when I'm getting dressed in the morning. I could hear his voice in my head. As I'm walking about the streets, as I'm just living my life, it's like that experience, that relationship is like ingrained in me. Or it was, until I started doing the deeper work on healing. So it's like I eliminated alcohol, but I was still feeling the weight of that situation. I was still affected by it. And so not drinking was hard. And like I said, it works for a little bit. You can say, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink for maybe a week, maybe longer for some people, maybe shorter for some people, but you can use willpower for a little while for sure. And you can say, I'm not going to drink. Come on, I can do this. Don't pick up a drink. You can do that for sure. But then reality is going to hit, and it hit me like a bus. And I was like, wow, I'm actually not healed from this at all. I'm still deeply scarred from that situation. And so I started to do some work. I started to read books on narcissism. I started to watch videos and just consume information about other people who have gone through similar things that I did. And through that healing process, my desire to drink started to go away. It was like I was creating a life for myself that I didn't need alcohol to get through. That's what we're going for. Heal yourself, heal your environment so that you don't crave a drink anymore. And that is how sobriety becomes easier, is when you build a life that you do not have to drink to get through. And it doesn't have to be some really big, heavy trauma or something. It can also be, like I said, a job or a city that you're not satisfied in. I lived in Los Angeles for 8 years and never found my community, never really found my people. I saw the toxic side of Los Angeles, being in the modeling and acting world, a lot of social climbers, just bad party scene, all this stuff. I had a really just not great experience in LA. And so 3 months after I got sober, quitting alcohol really brings everything to the surface. Let me tell you, you cannot ignore the things that are not going well in your life anymore. So anyways, about 3 months into my sobriety, I'm like, I got to get out of here. LA is not making me happy. It is not fueling me. I feel empty in LA. LA, the city of dreams. And I felt so empty being there. And so I picked my booty up and I moved back to my hometown of Seattle, Washington. My family means the absolute most to me, and I missed them every day that I was in LA. I called them all the time. They're my best friends. And so 3 months into my sobriety, I was like, what am I doing here? I want to be with my people. I want to feel whole and complete. And the moment I moved back to Seattle, I felt that fullness and that happiness. And when you feel loved and supported and at home and at peace, that desire to drink really diminishes. And that's what I'm talking about with making sobriety easier on you, is make your life easier on you so that you don't even want to drink. It's crazy how much less you think about alcohol when you actually like your life, which is crazy. And I know we all go through hard things, and I'm not trying to say like, oh, just get over it and you won't want to drink anymore. It's like, it's going to take time. Not everything is just pick up and move or, leave your husband and start your life over. No, I'm not. And I'm not saying to do that impulsive stuff and just totally change your life. But I'm saying recognize what things are causing you to drink, what aspects of your relationship, what aspects of your environment are making you want to drink, and just address those. Do some work on those. Heal. Work on yourself. A lot of things are outward, a lot of things are our environment, but some things are also within ourselves. And the only thing we can control really is ourselves. So also do some work on you. And through all of that, you start building this life, this amazing life that you don't need alcohol to get through. And that is so beautiful. And beyond just healing and doing the work and all that stuff, like that's so important for sure. But beyond that, sobriety also gives you the gift of time. So you have a lot more time on your hands, which is very hard in the beginning. A lot of people deal with boredom. I'm like, what do I do with myself? And I have plenty of information on my podcast and on my TikTok page about how to deal with all of that. But that freedom of time, what it gives you is the chance to actually discover who you are without alcohol. Because to me, when I was a drinker, my personality was alcohol. Everything that I enjoyed doing was involving alcohol, and like alcohol was at the forefront. That was the main event. And then whatever I was doing was kind of the second part. And so in sobriety, when you have this gift of time and you can't just drink everything away, you actually realize your likes, your dislikes, your interests, your hobbies that you want to take up, and it's beautiful. You start actually living. When you're drinking every day and dumbing down your personality and considering drinking your life away on your couch a fun Friday night, like, I forget where I was going, but that's not living. You know what I mean? Living is your passions, your people, the people around you who bring you life. The sports that you enjoy, the interests, a side hustle that you want to start. Maybe you have an interest in thrifting or fashion or baking or cooking or arts and crafts or language, home decor, vlogging, I don't know, gardening. There's a million things that you could be interested in. But I know for me, when I was drinking 15 beers a day, I forgot what all my interests were. And sobriety reintroduces you to those. So not only are you healing and starting to grow as a human being so that you don't crave alcohol, you're also building a life that makes you so happy. You are remembering what it's like to live. Your interests are coming to the surface. Your hobbies are being rediscovered. You are becoming a full, complete human being who doesn't need alcohol to exist. How beautiful is that? Like, that is the goal right there. We're just happy. And we don't need alcohol. I think that's what drinkers will never understand about sober people, is that we're actually the happiest. Like, living our absolute best lives where we don't need alcohol as a part of it. People think that you're like boring or not living life when you don't have alcohol as part of your life. Like, you're so boring if you're sober. What do you even do for fun? It's like, without alcohol, you actually have to discover what is truly fun, not just what is fun because there's alcohol involved. It's the most real, invigorating way to live. And now I feel like I have this amazing life where I am happy, healed, healthy, and doing the things that I love on a daily basis, to where I'm like, why would I want to drink? Why would I want to drink? I no longer have a life that I need to drink to get through. I'm just genuinely happy with the life I have. Totally sober. Don't need any substances to get through this life. And I'm sure down the road, obviously, I'm not going to wish this into existence, but I'm sure there will be other things that happen that are crushing, We go through hard things in life, but I have built the toolbox in sobriety to deal with hard things. And I know that we can go through hard things and heal from them, come out on the other side faster, better, healthier, and easier without alcohol involved. So I understand that this doesn't make sobriety easy. In fact, it's a lot of deep work to do in the beginning. Oh my gosh, you're just like relearning who you are. You're doing these deep therapy sessions with yourself. It is hard. But doing those hard things, going deeper, is what's going to make sobriety easier in the end. And that's what we want. That's all we can hope for. Time's going to pass anyways. So you may as well be working on building a better life and healing from everything than just continuing to live a life that you're not happy with. You may as well be making progress every day, even though it is hard. It will be easier eventually, instead of it just being hard forever, if that makes any sense. Anyway, the way to quit drinking without willpower is to work on yourself, work on your healing from your traumas, and just building a life that you don't need to drink to get through. Then sobriety is easy and you don't even think about drinking because you're already happy. You don't need to drink to get through life. So that's how it's done. Easy as that, right? No, I mean, yes, it's a lot of work, okay? But you can do it. I know that you are capable of it. And looking back in 6 months or 8 months or a year or 10 years, you're going to be so grateful that you did that work, got sober, did the work, and healed, and became this person. All that you're going to achieve is going to be amazing. Doing the work opens you up to actually live a life that you're happy with, to meet your right person, to move to the city that you were always meant to be in, to get the job that you've always dreamt of. You have to do those hard things to find the beautiful things. So, thank you for tuning in to today's episode, and I will see you for the next one. Bye.